Crazy. That was definitely a crazy time walking into the gallery, and then you see like Tyga and Kylie in there. I chopped it up with Lil Yachty for a little bit.
That's crazy.
Designer was in there buying stuff one day.
Wow.
Just a really, really cool experience, which even made me fall more in love with a retail spot.
Yeah.
So my name's Christian Johnson. Everyone calls me CJ. I'm from Honolulu, Hawaii. I got a vintage store here locally called LeftOvers. We just started a couple years ago, and been in the vintage game for a little less than 10 years now. And just excited to see where it turns out, because the vintage game has just really been blowing up and
For sure.
and escalating over the last few months. So
For sure.
excited to see how it goes.
Sweet. And how did you kind of start getting into this vintage game? Like, what was the first point of view, like, you seen someone maybe make some money off like a vintage tee?
I was always into reselling, so I would do like the Supreme and the Bape and all that earlier sneakers, and then I was rocking a old Champion basketball jersey, and this dude tried to buy it off my back.
Yeah?
He's like, "Yo, man, I'll give you $100 for that jersey." I was like, "Yo, I didn't even know this jersey's even worth $100." So I started to think, like, man, maybe there's something in this vintage game that I just didn't see yet. And then I had a bunch of stuff already from growing up, because born in the late 80s, so I truly grew up like a 90s baby.
Yeah.
And all the old shirts that I had growing up, people really wanted them. So I was like, man, I got to figure something out, and, maybe we can get something going.
Sweet.
For the vintage, yeah.
Who was the player on the back of the jersey?
It was a gold Michael Jordan jersey.
Wow.
So I want to say Drake wore it, or somebody like that wore it, but yeah, this dude was like, "Yeah, man, I'll give you $100." So I just took my jersey off and sold it to him for $100. Yeah.
That's sweet. That's
so
sweet.
Super cool stories. I know a lot of vintage guys have cool stories, so it's awesome to hear how everyone curates their pieces.
That is sweet. So you sold that first tee, and then how'd you start selling the rest of them? Were you selling them to more people, like on the street? Or were you selling like online?
So back then, Facebook was still pretty big, so there was a lot of Facebook forums for like different things, sneakers, Kaws. There's a local Kaws Facebook forum, and then there's a vintage one. So I just posted a few things, trying to get some responses and see if what people liked, and I think I sold out everything.
Really?
Yeah, I just posted like a few Stussy shirts and some sports tees, and it all went.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So once you sold out, you're probably like, man, excited, you got all this, now you got like some cash for like the clothes you had.
Definitely.
So what was the next step after that? Did you like go out and try to find stuff then, or?
I definitely started to hit the thrifts a little harder. I had storage units like this one, so I'd dig in my storage unit, see if I could find any cool goodies that people might like. And then when it started really going, I was like, I should definitely get a spot. Like, I should get a storefront and just kind of go from there and keep seeing what happens. But more and more people kept coming and wanting to pick up stuff, so it was just a true blessing how everything worked out.
And at that time, were you working like another job, or were you like in school? Like what were you doing like on the main, or was this the main thing you were doing?
I always wanted to make this the main thing, but at that time I had just parted ways with this other store that I had called Paradise Drive. We made our own clothing and we carried sneakers and stuff. But so I kind of had like a point for 2 years where I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and people was asking me, "CJ, what's the next store gonna be?" And people would come to my house and just literally buy things out of my room.
Wow.
Like my homies nicknamed it CJ Store.
Yeah.
So they would come by and like pick through stuff that I had that I either found or had over the years. And I was like, man, I gotta stop having people come to my house. I gotta open up a storefront.
Yeah.
So it just worked out crazy how it did.
That's sweet. And so that store, Paradise Drive, how'd you get into that? Like, that's really cool.
So to take you guys a little bit back, maybe about 20 years ago, my uncle started a sneaker store called Kicks Hawaii. It's pretty big deal. It was a really prominent store. Unfortunately, they just closed shop recently due to COVID, but They were around for 20 years, had like all the top tier Nike accounts. So when I was young in my teenage years, I would work there, but I would mostly just get my paycheck and spend it right back at the store, like get whatever the hottest shoe was at the time. But just growing up in that storefront and kind of getting to the feel of retail, I just fell in love. And then we also had a brother store next door called Lalo Hawaii, and Lalo carried Supreme, Original Fake, a lot of Japanese streetwear brands that no longer exist anymore today, like Swagger. We carried Visvum. Just a lot of crazy stuff. We had a Bear Brick account with Metacom.
Whoa.
And keep in mind, this is like 2006, 2005. So
it's the beginning. This
is like kind of like where it first started growing. And the fact that we had a Supreme account outside of Supreme was crazy. Our owner was Jules Gayton. He's one of the original Stussy Tribe members.
Oh, wow.
So that's how he got the connect to be able to carry those brands.
That's crazy. Because they were strictly in the Supreme stores in Japan. And there's a lot more Supreme stores in Japan. It was a lot bigger in Japan than even was ever in the U.S.
Oh, facts. And the fact that they even would let him carry things for retail was like unreal. Like,
that's crazy.
I don't think anyone else in the U.S. Had that opportunity.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, so that was real cool. And so I just fell in love with that. And then one day I was like, man, I really want to open up my own store. So that's how I got into Paradise Drive. And we started as a consignment sneaker spot, and then it just kind of grew into like our own brand.
That's sweet.
So that was awesome. Those were awesome times, man. I miss those days, but I'm really, really into the vintage now. And just cool to see like the stuff that we wore growing up is popular.
Yeah,
like.
It's sweet. It's really sweet.
But sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. So now, you started the store, Paradise Drive, it went crazy, and then you get more into the vintage stuff.
Yeah.
Started reselling. The vintage started going really well.
Definitely.
And then, so how did it translate from selling online to now opening your new store or your store?
So right when I ended Paradise Drive, me and my buddy had a bunch of Kaws toys that we had just laying around in our storage unit and stuff. And then I was in a Kaws forum, and then this dude that was the manager at Round 2 was like, yo, man, if you would bring these toys to LA, we would cash you out pretty good. And I was like, really? So I went through like a 2-year Kaws phase right after Paradise dropped or ended, and I was just selling Round 2 Kaws toys. So they had a shop next to them called The Gallery.
Yeah.
And I was in the gallery all the time just flipping Kaws toys to them.
Really?
And with that cash flow, I was able to open up LeftOvers.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
all of the Kaws.
Yeah. Like
how many do you have?
A bunch, man. Like,
really?
And these were all toys that were sold for retail through our store Lalo when I was a teenager. So I was spending all my money on these toys that were like $250 retail.
Yeah.
And then a few years down the road, like I'm selling each piece for like $5,000 now.
Whoa.
So it was crazy. That was definitely a crazy time, walking into the gallery, and then you see like Tyga and Kylie in there. We see I chopped it up with Lil Yachty for a little bit.
That's crazy.
Designer was in there buying stuff one day.
Wow.
Just a really, really cool experience, which even made me fall more in love with a retail spot.
Yeah.
So just being able to connect with people and seeing their love for pieces and items is super special to me. So that's why I want to try to keep going and seeing where the vintage would take us.
That's sweet. That's really sweet. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had that many pieces of the Kaws.
Crazy. They were able to purchase 1 4-footer off us, so they got 1 4-foot Kaws piece.
Wow.
And
how much did those retail, the 4-foot Kaws?
Back in the day, I believe retail was only $6,500.
Only.
Which I had to drop my whole entire like graduation fund on it.
Yeah.
Like all the money I got from family, I invested it into Kaws toys.
Yeah.
Which was pretty funny and crazy at the time, but down the road, man, it truly paid off. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was such a blessing. And me and my buddies were just Kaws fans from the get-go. We just really loved his art and the way he presented his stuff. So
how do you feel now that you go into any store and you see Kaws on the Reese's Puffs box?
I trip out, man. Like, it's, man, all those guys in streetwear have come such a long way. You know, Kaws, Mr. Cartoon, Futura, like all those dudes, man, they just been killing it. Murakami,
like especially Murakami.
I remember we was purchasing Murakami pieces back in the day when he was doing like collabs with Louis Vuitton, and no one was like, yo, who's this dude, like making these funky pandas and stuff. But yeah, man, just really been about this for a long time.
That's sweet, bro. And now so then you get your own store now. How is that doing now versus like online? Like, what is the difference between selling online, now you have a store?
Due to COVID, online definitely picked up, and I want to say is like our main source of income is online. But the special thing about the store is you really build relationships with people locally and people who come out of town, like, you know, yourself, Aaron, that we met through Vintage, like, which was awesome.
We did.
So it's just a good way to continue to meet people, and then they can see the pieces in person, because I know you know, Vintage is usually you know, reused items, so good way to like check out pieces, put it on, make sure it fits right. And when people buy stuff from the store, and you know, I can see their face and they're just so in love, and it just brings back great memories for them. It's an awesome feeling.
That's super sweet.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So now you got the store. How are you getting more inventory? Are you going out and picking stuff, or now are you able to buy, sell, trade versus like spending most of your time out?
Oh, great point. Yeah, definitely having the store is great for buy, sell, trade, but every day we're in the trenches digging. So every day we're trying to curate and find the best pieces for everyone.
Gotcha.
And the cool thing about Vintage is there's so much genres, man. Like, so many different ways you can go about it, and I just feel like, you know, when you walk into a vintage store, you'll for sure find a piece that you can connect with, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. What are some big, like, genres right now that weren't so big in the past?
Huge wrestling fan growing up, so last year wrestling tees really took off. That was really special to see, because at first, like, these wrestling tees, you'll find them online for like $30-$40, and nowadays it's like 100 plus. Like, like Stone Cold literally just did an interview talking about his shirts and how he thought it was crazy that people were paying these prices for his stuff, but it's just highly collectible, and a lot of pieces you only could get at the show. So you couldn't get that shirt anywhere else. Like, you had to be at the event. So that's why, like, the story that goes with the shirt just makes it that much more special. But definitely wrestling, Disney, like this Mickey tee I'm wearing has always been hot. This year, though, I really feel like hats will be the new wave.
You think so?
Yeah, snapbacks, even fitteds too. Vintage hats will take off this year. It's gonna be. I already see it. It's already getting crazy.
Yeah, the trend now with like the all over embroidery on fitteds too is like huge. So
huge.
Translating that into the vintage community, it's gonna really pull out that vintage piece.
Definitely, especially local guys from Hawaii. We love to match the hat with our shirt. Like, so if you got a cool shirt, you gotta get a cool matching hat with it. So that's cool to see that people are really appreciating the old school hats now.
For sure. Speaking of Hawaii, how do you feel like the Hawaii is compared to like sort of the rest of like mainly the mainland or anywhere else you traveled? Like, it's me being here, I've sort of seen like a lot more shopping, but a lot different style here than there is sort of everywhere
absolutely
else.
I feel like a lot of clothing pieces kind of tend to like our weather and what we can wear here. You know, we can't really pull off too many like puffer jackets or like fleece jackets, but a lot of people rock like hats. Bucket hats are real big. I'm gonna start in the new spot that we got coming. I never really carried tank tops before, but I really want to carry like cool vintage tank tops in the future. Just a cool piece that a lot of guys and girls can wear here locally year round.
For sure.
And it's definitely shorts. Shorts are starting to get bigger too, like old vintage Nike shorts, or just any old nostalgic brand. Those are getting big because, we only can really wear shorts year round.
Yeah. I wore the jeans. I was sweating earlier.
I feel you.
So a big thing for these vintage communities is like shows. So how does like these big shows? Do you go to them? Do they help out a lot?
Oh,
Or?
absolutely. Now that things are finally starting to open up, I've definitely been to a few shows recently. Picked up great things, man. Which is awesome because I feel like people kind of been hoarding it for the past couple years, and now that they're able to do flea markets, we can catch up on all those pieces that we missed out on.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, definitely shows have been awesome. We're gonna do a pop-up next week at a local museum. It's gonna be like a night market, but for sustainability companies. So I think that's gonna be awesome, and people really just trying to figure out how to be better environmentally.
Yeah.
Like with pieces, and not really kind of going towards the fast fashion, but picking pieces out that are older and are better for the earth.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then we talked about a little bit off camera about like sort of this Nike piece. How do you feel about brands like repurposing like old vintage boots, like maybe the Cactus Plant tee or the Nike
Great
Club?
question. That's actually a big question in the vintage community right now. Is not only people reprinting old stuff, but new bootlegs.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are 50-50. I know a lot of the OG guys are kind of against it.
Yeah.
But honestly, in my opinion, I think it's awesome. It's only going to bring back more nostalgic for people that forgot about that shirt. And they're like, yo, they make that Undertaker shirt again now.
Yeah.
So I think it'll bring back definitely memories and lost memories of people who forgot about that shirt. And then also the new bootlegs, I feel is awesome because it's just a way for someone to express their love for a certain genre or a certain piece. I'm totally for it, not against it.
Yeah.
So if people want to make new bootlegs of stuff, I love it. It's just an artwork in itself. And what's cool is like 20 years from now, that bootleg is going to be worth something. You know? Like that was someone's take on, whatever favorite movie they had or favorite TV show. So I think that stuff is really cool for sure. Definitely support the guys that make the new boots and guys who are reprinting older stuff.
What about like, you go down to like H&M or like Zoomies now, you see they all have sort of that old vintage like Aaliyah shirts. Like, how do you feel about that?
Those bigger companies, I'm not too keen on those guys reprinting stuff. But the actual brand itself, like Polo Sport, just kind of brought back their Polo Sport brand through Ralph Lauren. So I think that stuff is cool when the brand itself brings it back. But when these bigger companies like Zara and H&M, when they bring it back, it's a little tacky.
Yeah.
But I mean, to each their own, man. So I'm never against it, always for it.
Got you. What so then what are your next steps now? So you have a new store coming up, you want to open up. Like what are you doing in preparation to open that store?
So a new store coming up. We're gonna carry a lot more different pieces that we did on the previous store. So, which was good because the last 2 years have just been a great learning experience to see what people really love out here and or what people just like in general, honestly. So, kind of like I mentioned earlier, we'll have a tank top section, which we never had before.
Yeah.
I'll have a denim jacket section. I wasn't too big on that at the old spot, but I know people love the denim jackets.
Yeah,
so
the denim.
I'm gonna definitely incorporate that. And people keep asking me if I'm gonna bring old shoes, like old Nike Dunks and stuff, which I do have in storage, but I think I'll bring that out at the right time.
Yeah.
But other than that, pretty much will be the same, just maybe new type of pieces that will be carrying. Yeah.
And how are you gonna do the build out for this store?
Build out. Well, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna just have the wood shelves like how we used to. The only difference is we had a mural at our old spot that my homie Jack Soren did, and I'm gonna get him and a couple other people to do some cool murals in the shop. So
that'd be sweet.
It'll definitely be like a brand new look.
Gotcha. And now coming to stores, your location is like one of your biggest things. How do you find a good spot for a store, and where is your new store gonna be?
Oh, another great question. For guys who are trying to open brick and mortars in stores, I want to say location is maybe the number one thing that you should prioritize. You want to get a spot where not only has good foot traffic, but a spot where people can get to easily. So hopefully you have a place with good parking. I know that's a big factor. And a place where you can hold possibly events in the future when things open up even more. So a lot of factors weigh in on that, but I would say location is big. So if you can get a place, in your main town area, and get a lot of for us tourists here locally, we rely on them a lot too.
Yeah.
So a place where tourists could get to, things like that. Those are all big stuff.
That's sweet. Awesome, man. So yeah, what are we looking out for you? Like what do you have coming out next? You like to shout out, or
We got a night market event coming up on April 8th at Bishop Museum. We'll be doing more events until the opening of the new spot. We're gonna try to get the new spot by end of this summer, so hopefully we can get you there for the grand opening.
That'd be sweet.
And I'm gonna try to get live performances, DJs for the grand opening. It'll be a big event.
Sweet.
The first grand opening for LeftOvers was a major success. A lot more people came out than I thought would.
Really?
Which was awesome, because that was like middle of COVID that we opened.
Yeah.
So we had so many obstacles in the way in the beginning, but I'm glad we pushed through it, and everything worked out beautifully, man.
Did you look outside? Was a huge line? And
at first, yeah, there was a huge line, and at that time we only could let so much people in the door.
Wow, that's really cool.
So people would wait outside, and man, they were just so awesome. And I know the weather's kind of funky here. It'll rain for 20 minutes and then be totally sunny.
Yeah.
So guys literally stood in the rain and
Wow.
just really want to rock with us. And I hope to continue to bring good pieces for people, and pieces that they'll cherish and really love. And if we can keep that going, that just means so much to me.
That's really sweet. One more question I completely kind of glossed over. Selling on Instagram Live is sort of something that I've never seen until the vintage community kind of popped up. Can you talk more about
Oh, yeah,
that
absolutely. So I first started to get on Instagram Live maybe about 2 years ago, right when COVID hit, because we shut everything down for a hot second, and then our only way of income was to sell stuff online. And I know getting an online store, that's a whole beast in itself.
Yeah.
So a quick way to just push sales, I would hop on lives with other vintage guys, and we would do auctions and buy it nows, and just sell a lot of pieces that way. And then it kind of just snowballed into me and my friend Figgy Finds, if you search him on Instagram, started a weekly show every week, and it's just been awesome. We just hit our 1 year.
Yeah, congrats to that, brother.
Appreciate that. So 1 year of doing that, and we just built up a lot of awesome clientele that way. And it's also a good way to just give back, and we start pieces at $1, and just a good way to just keep passing the blessings forward.
That's sweet. Where do you mainly sell a lot? Where's your biggest demographic?
Biggest demographic? It's a little weird, because we got the younger kids coming in for the NASCAR tees and the Disney, but we got a lot of OG guys coming in for sports stuff, hats, jerseys, things of that nature. And we also, which is a little different from other vintage stores, is we carry a kids section.
Oh, really?
Kids section of just vintage kid stuff. And a lot of the people come in have kids, so grab a shirt for them, grab a matching shirt for their son or daughter, and I think that's really cool. So hopefully we see more kid stuff pop out.
That's sweet.
With other vintage guys. But another cool thing that we'll add to the new spot too, I'm definitely gonna get a bigger kids section for guys to get stuff for their kids. Much love. Thank you to everyone that's been rocking with LeftOvers, for the last couple years, and guys like yourself, Aaron, that just really support and show mad love. And we got so much love from people on the mainland. I'm just so overwhelmed by it that I literally can't thank everyone. So if I miss your name or miss out on some people, forgive me, man. There's just so much people that really show a lot of aloha to us. So what a blessing, man. Just thank you, man. What a great way to get the podcast going.
Yeah, and, for sure, bro.
And get things rolling with you, man. So I'm looking forward to things from Don.
Yeah, man.
And I'm hoping that Leftovers and Don can do a collab.
Yeah.
I got some great ideas we could bang out that I think people will love too. So stick around for that. That's definitely something I want to do in the future.
I'm here, man. Grand opening.
Gee,
Let's do it.
I got you.
All right.
My man, much love, dog.